Victim specialist program managers come up. Again, this is all just about victims. They have no idea about any case information, so we're just going to be talking about victim services and how we're helping the folks of Nashville, along with the city of Nashville too, and our other partners. Becky, you want to spell your name and talk about what we're doing?
Sure. Good evening. I'm Becky Elam, Becielam.
How are you doing tonight, Becky?
I'm good. How are you guys?
What's your title?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me? I'm a supervisory program manager.
Just tell us why you gathered us here tonight.
Did you gather me here?
What's the FBI do?
All right. So we're just going to explain a little bit about what the FBI's Victim Services Division does. So essentially, we have a team of folks who they're a deployment team for incidents such as the Nashville bombing. And we are a multidisciplined team of agents, analysts, and victim specialists, and we respond to meet the needs of victims in these type of incidents.
Have you had contact with any of the victims yet?
Yes, sir.
And how are they responding to your services?
By all accounts, I think well. We've done a little over 200 needs assessments, and so we are getting all of the information that we need to be able to meet their basic and other needs, and trying to just kind of capture what it is that they need in terms of resources that are available to them in Nashville, and any other gaps that we might identify where we can bring in folks to help them.
So walk us through a timeline. When you get on scene to something like this, what's the first thing that you do, and then walk us through up until today?
So the first thing we do when we get on scene is we essentially make connections with the community partners in terms of the city, in terms of the police departments and all the other folks that have already responded, to kind of get an idea of what type of folks we're looking at trying to help. So how many injured do we have? How many deceased do we have? And thankfully in this case that was fairly minimal. And so that's essentially the first thing we do, is try to identify all of the different victims and the victim types.
Can you give us a total of like how many victims in terms of like their housing or their commercial business, because it's a mix of commercial and housing down here, right?
Sure. So we don't really have a total. I can't give you any numbers like that, but it's essentially what we're looking at so far is we're looking at folks who essentially just been property damage for them. And so there's residents and businesses that are mostly impacted, as I understand it. And so I don't want to get into anything investigative or anything, but in terms of who we're assisting, we're essentially helping folks with basic needs. And so far it looks like most of the needs that we've been trying to meet is making sure that they get in to help, board their businesses up and the residents up as they can, and then getting them immediate stuff such as medications, driver's license, passports, things that they need to be able to get through their day, so that if they need to go to work, if they need to drive their cars, different little things like that. So
when you're talking with some of these people, I saw them last night, they literally left the clothes on their backs and a diaper bag thinking they were going to come back home today. How do you talk to them to make sure that they feel they're comfortable and that they're going to be helped out?
It's a great question. So almost everybody on our team, or actually everyone on our team, is trauma informed. And so our victim specialists are actually experts in crisis intervention and trauma care. And so what they do every day is help people who are victims of criminal incidents. And so they know how to do crisis intervention, de-escalate them, just listen to them a lot of times is what they need to do. And so these guys are they're empathetic, and essentially is the crux of what they do, is just listen and kind of get, at the end of the day, find out what their needs are. And that is sort of really goes a long way to sort of helping them meet whatever emotional crisis that they're in.
What kind of interactions have you had with any of these victims?
So for me, I kind of supervise all the victim specialists that are here, and for me it's just been really intake and just making sure that I match them up with the right person, and so that they can get to what they need.
How does it feel at the end of the day to help these people get simple things like medications, a driver's license, things we all take for granted?
Sure. So, this is what we're sort of in the business of doing. A lot of people on our team came to the Bureau to be able to do this thing, just to be able to help give back to the community. And so at the end of the day, it's just something that it's just what we do in order to, really give back to the community and just help them. So I don't know that I could say that how it makes me feel, and that it's always rewarding to be able to help somebody out in a situation like that.
Where are they now? Where are the victims now? Are they in hotels? Are they in shelters? Because they don't have a home, so where are they staying?
So as I understand it, most of the folks who were sort of displaced, they have a place to stay. We haven't. We're still trying to, identify any of those particular needs, and as they come up, we are certainly identifying resources to be able to help them find housing if they need it.
How many people are displaced?
Say again?
How many people are displaced and unable to get back to their homes?
I don't have a number for that right now.
But you said you assessed about 200.
We had 220, a little over 225 people come through here today. It was a mix of people. They weren't all displaced. Most of them were business owners.
Now,
What
are
about
you
the
guys giving out
counseling
gift cards?
services? Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just trying to figure out how you're offering counseling services for any of these victims, because it's great to have somebody to listen to and it's great to talk, but what exactly are you offering in terms of counseling for some of these people?
So we don't actually provide counseling per se. What we do is crisis intervention. That's sort of on-the-spot emotional de-escalation, if you want. It's kind of a good way to put it. But it's essentially just kind of meeting somebody right where they're at and just helping them walk through how they're processing sort of their emotions in the moment, and just getting them to a place where they can kind of handle meeting their basic needs. And so in terms of counseling, what we do is we look for community resource providers that we can connect them with. So because counseling is kind of it's a very private, individualized thing, and we want to make sure that they get the right help. And so we find as many counseling resources as we possibly can to connect them to.
How
and
is
we work
this type of event different than any other type of event where you come and show and you try to support the community and the victims?
So in Victim Services Division, we sort of have a saying, and if you've seen one, you've seen one. Each of these is very nuanced, and every community is different. And so none are the same. And
Are there ways
Nashville
people
different?
can help here, like help what you do or help the people here?
I think we're still kind of identifying what that looks like in terms of volunteers, in terms of different community resources, and we're actually working with the Nashville community to sort of put together a resource list, and then we'll push that out when we have more details about that.
Have you guys been giving out gift cards or some type of monetary way for people to go and buy groceries and things like that?
No, ma'am, we don't do that. There are definitely resources in the community who do that, and if someone has a financial need, then we connect them with that.
What should the days ahead look like for your division?
We don't really know. This is one of those things where we take it day by day. We'll certainly be here as long as we're needed, and just make sure that everyone gets the type of resources and services that they need.
How long will it take for business owners and homeowners to get back into the location, as they're cleaning up? Do you have a sense of how long that would take?
That's not in my lane. I don't have any idea to answer that question.
What's the best way for people to get a hold of you guys, to get in touch with you guys?
So they can contact the Memphis field office or the Knoxville field office, and they'll know how to get a hold of us.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.